Wildcards. Besides spending cash on gems, by far the most important tool in any Magic Arena player's arsenal for building and improving decks. But is it still possible to do well without them? In this series, I start out with a brand new Arena account and work my way from Bronze all the way to top 250 Mythic while only building decks with cards I crack from packs. This is Sealed Only Arena. Hello everyone, Peaceful here, and welcome back to episode 2 of Sealed Only MTGA. As always with Sealed Only Arena, we're starting each episode with a pack opening. You might be asking yourself, how do I have so many packs? I had no gold at the end of last episode. Well, the answer, as some of you may have guessed already, is using the play followed by the set code for all of the standard legal sets and gotten me 3 packs from every standard set, as well as some extras from Alchemy, which will hopefully give us some commons. So we're going to start by opening all of these, hopefully redeeming ourselves from the end of last episode's pack opening, which wasn't great, and get some goodies for some new decks. So let's start off with the Brothers War, most recent set. Monastery Swift Spear could be good. Wild card, of course. Wouldn't be the series without a bunch of wild cards. Underground River is huge. Great mana fixing. I will never be upset by getting good lands for the future, and it's even better that this fits into our current deck. Nothing great in this pack. Let's hope we get a good rare. Thorn of Amethyst, not going to be played. Joyra, I can't see us playing a combo deck with just sealed packs. Essence Scatter could be good. Evolve Sleeper, huge, definitely making the cut. Nothing in this pack. Carplusian Forest, again, we're not in green-red right now, but that helps us switch. Alchemy packs, just to see if we can fill out some of the commons. Bite Down isn't terrible if we play green, but overall, Alchemy packs not where it's at. Ooh, Proving Ground, okay, Jund fixing. To lose, more like a Brawl card, or, there is a good deck built around it, but that would be insane to be able to play that in the series. Broker's Hideout, could see play. Disdainful Stroke, not bad. Just getting another murder. More lands. Nothing great in this pack. Another wild card. Voltaic Surge, pretty good. Same with Invoke the Ancients. Let's see what we can get out of our second Kamigawa pack. Weaver of Harmony is great if we can build an enchantment deck. Fangs of Shigeki, decent also, but I'm not holding my hopes up too much for these commons from the Alchemy packs. Crimson Vow, can we get something here? Persistent Specimen, maybe. Glorious Sunrise, again, good for a green deck. Crimson Vow, nothing good in the common slot. Dying to Serve, nope. Bleed Dry, decent removal. Hopefully we get a good rare. Sundown Pass, again, never upset with good lands. Duress, Malevolent Hermit, both great, probably making the cut in the sideboard respectively. This pack doesn't look too... Pithing Needle, considers very good, very, very good. Oh, and Shipwrecked Marsh is great. We got 2 great pieces of fixing for our current deck. Alright, welcome back everyone to episode 2 of Sealed Only Arena. After the pack opening, I did some edits to my deck. I'm going to walk you through the deck, but first I have something to explain about this episode. I'm going to be, as I said at the end of last episode, experimenting a bit with content style and editing style for these videos. So what I'm going to be doing different this video is, instead of 5 matches like last episode, I'm going to cut it down to 3. But each match will be longer, because instead of voiceover, I'll be doing live commentary of each match. So after you finished watching this video, let me know in the comments whether you preferred this video or the previous episode, or have another idea for me. I'm willing to experiment and try, because I want to make these as entertaining as possible. So with that, what have I changed with the deck? I think overall I've cut down a bit on the curve and went a bit more for a proactive game plan in the first turn or two, and then using the removal spells to back it up as more of a tempo deck rather than a hard control deck. So I've ended up deciding that Karn Silex makes more sense in the sideboard, both because it doesn't actually trigger most of our whenever you cast an instant or sorcery abilities. It's somewhat expensive and it loses us a turn on tempo, but I think we'll be bringing it in most games. I've also decided to keep our counters in the sideboard for now, because I think in general having the spot removal is better, and having the counters can be good when we're on the play, but when we're going second, having counters in a more proactive deck just makes us really slow. So I think this is better for tempo. I've also kept cheap removal on the side, 2 Duresses, 2 Annihilating Glares. Shore Up if we're going against it like a black deck with a lot of removal and we think we need to protect our creatures, but I think we have enough removal. Pithing Needle was a very good pull, because if we go up against stuff like Planeswalkers, that can be useful. There's lots of other cards that use activated abilities. Ashnod's Harvester, I'm kind of thinking of cutting this from the sideboard, but we'll try it out and see if I feel like bringing it in at all. I don't know what decks I'd bring it in against, but it just seems like a decent play if we go against another Reanimator deck, and also having Unearth means when we mill our own cards, that's pretty helpful. So other things I brought in, you saw this in the last match of the last episode, but Body Launderer, we got as one of the individual card rewards from winning a match in the last episode. We cut that on a Meeting of the Minds. We added Malevolent Hermit. I think it's a good 2-drop. And then, of course, we've added Evolved Sleeper, which is a great 1-drop. And I've also added Consider. So I think you kind of see what I'm going with more Spells Matter tempo-y rather than hard control. So let's jump into the first match and see how we do. Alright, welcome to Game 1 of Match 1 of Episode 2. We've made our deck upgrades. Let's hope it works out. We're going to be on the play here. This opening hand is risky, but I think we need to keep it because we can go Sleeper. We're going to have a tap land though, so it won't be the fastest of starts, but if we can find a third land, preferably on our first draw step, draw an untapped land, but this isn't ideal, certainly. Opponent plays a Swamp. They're something black. If we play the Island, we can play the Synthesizer, but I think we'd rather get the Sleeper out, and we can't Sleeper and pump it anyway. But if we play the Sleeper this turn, next turn we can Synthesizer and pump it. Opponent plays an Island. Okay, so it's a mirror match with heavy air quotes because they're probably playing a more real deck and we're just playing whatever we get out of packs. But it's still blue-black mirror. Okay, we're going to go with an Island. They have a removal spell. We're going to attack and see if they use it. If they don't use it, we'll pump and make them use it because we're not planning on using all 3 of our mana anyway. But that'll definitely bait them into probably go for the throat. No, it's Anoint with Affliction. Okay, gets exiled. Ichor Synthesizer, and we'll pass the turn. Third Island. They're passing it back, definitely representing a counterspell. Luckily for us, we don't have anything proactive we want to do, so we'll just get in for a damage, pass it back, and hope they don't flash something in. If they do have a removal spell though, that's probably not going to end too well for us because all we have is removal spells. Okay. Skull Dweller. I don't love the idea of using a removal spell on this, but I kind of think that's what we're supposed to do in this situation. At least Deadly Derision will get us a treasure and put a counter on our Synthesizer. Even if they counter it, we'll get a counter on it. And I doubt they can counter this and a spell next turn. We need 4 counters on it for it to be unblockable. Okay, they counter it. We can just cut down here. I think I like cut down holding up Murder, and we'll get in for another damage. Okay, they're going to remove our Synthesizer. We draw another land, so we have pretty much nothing going on. We're probably going to want to use Murder on the next creature they play, even though Derision ramps us. It's currently our only way to get rid of a Planeswalker, and I'm worried that they're going to have Ashiok or Liliana or Kaito. They're anticipating again. Sorry, Experimental Augury, but basically anticipate. We draw another removal spell. So this is definitely one of those matchups where we're going to want to side out most of our removal. Wow, okay. Are they really Infect Control? Voidwing Hybrid. Yes, they are. Oh, and when you... Ooh, okay. That's not great. Do we have any exile effects? We don't have any exile effects, but what we can do, we could either Twilight, and that would recur the Synthesizer, or we can Pile On and Surveil. I think, considering it's probably going to get countered, I think actually we probably Black Sun's Twilight, and then we can Pile On the upkeep. And if they don't have a hard counter, we will have enough to pay for it, in all likelihood. See, what was the counter spell they played before? I don't have Vera more. Okay, counter, it's a hard counter. Oh, and they're proliferating. Okay. Now the question is, do we upkeep Pile On or do we Murder now? I think we Murder. Okay, we draw a Haughty Djinn. We don't have any ways to protect it, and they probably have removal, but I think we'll take the proactive spell anyway, and we can hold up Pile On. Land number 6, sorry. Vraska, Betrayal Sting. Okay, I'm glad I held up the Deadly, I didn't hold it up, but I'm glad I have the Deadly Derision as an option. They're probably going to turn our Djinn into a treasure, or they could proliferate and bring back the hybrid, but they don't have the mana for that. So we're probably, they are proliferating. Maybe they played a land this turn, so not really sure what their plan is. Oh, Pylon can also take care of Vraska. Okay, that's good to know. All right, Divination. End step, I think we Pile On. Surveil is going to be useful here. Oh, I think I like both of these. We can see it's going to give us 1 more power on the Haughty Djinn and maybe draw us into another land. Yep. Okay, we'll swing in for 6. They're down to 9. I'd be surprised if they didn't draw into a piece of removal. Maybe not. There was an argument for playing the Launderer first so that the Djinn dying would trigger it, but it looks like it's going to die anyway. Now, we could Blue Sun's Twilight. We're 1 away from making a copy, so I think we should wait for the value on that, even though that would prevent them from double blocking. We could Body Launderer, swing in. If they double block, we bring back the Ichor Synthesizer. I don't think that's a bad option. We could also attack, hold up Deadly Derision, And that way they don't 2-for-1 us, but they're probably going to proliferate anyway. They probably have a counterspell. I think we'll start off with the Launderer and see what they do. I think if the Launderer resolves, we just attack. Okay, I don't really want them to double block here, so I'm just going to pass the turn. Okay, we can cast Blue Sun's X equals 5. I'm worried that their last card is a counterspell, and that would be not really a blowout, but just bad for us, so I think we're going to first main phase Deadly Derision on their hybrid. They didn't have a pause there, so it makes me feel that they actually don't have a counterspell. In that case, we could Blue Sun's X equals 2, swing for lethal, because Haughty Djinn would have 8 power. I hope this works. Let's see. Oh, why does it have summoning? Did they just play it? No, they couldn't have. That doesn't make sense to me, but I might just not understand something rules-wise. Either way, we have lethal next turn unless they can remove a card and play a flying blocker or get a board wipe here, which with 3 mana left, I doubt they can do both unless they cut down. Or if they can proliferate with 1 mana left, they could bring back their own hybrid. Alright, let's swing for lethal. There we go, game 1. Okay. They have cheap creatures. They also have a lot of counter magic. So this is going to be interesting sideboarding. I think we definitely bring in Duress. This is a difficult one. I think we bring in our counter spells. We could bring in Shore Up. We're just going to slow down a lot this game. Bleed Dry can exile, so that deals with the 2 mana flyers. I think this is probably where we want to be. I don't think Ashnell is going to be great here. I think we cut down on the murders. We really don't need that much removal. Blot Out isn't targeted. Maybe Shore Up isn't actually that great in this matchup. Malevolent Hermit lets us counter things. I think it might be the Disdainful Stroke. They had a lot of mana, but the only expensive card they really played was Vraska. Yeah, I think just Vraska was the only card we could have countered with Disdainful Stroke in this match, or in the first game. So I'm not confident enough that that's going to... So we'll cut the Disdainful Stroke. I don't know where the rest of our... Oh, there it is. Okay, we'll try this. And I know I said I probably wasn't going to be bringing in counter magic on the draw, but I think this match is slow enough where that's worth it. I think this is a great hand. We would like to draw both another island and another swamp, which is slightly risky, but we have a 2-drop, we have removal, and we have something that can give us tempo if somehow they get out really aggressively this game. Essence Scatter is a nice 2-mana counter. Prologue to Phyresis on their main phase, so they're not really too concerned about counter magic or removal initially, so we'll resolve an Ichor Synthesizer. Hopefully we can curve that into a Haughty Djinn. I'd love for them to just waste their turn on a sorcery speed removal because I don't actually care that much about the Synthesizer. Or play a creature of their own. That's fine as well. Haughty Djinn doesn't kill it as a blocker right now, but it will soon, and it makes our instants and sorceries a lot cheaper. We can get in for 1 here. If Haughty Djinn survives, that would be fantastic, but I'm not expecting it to. Nope. Okay, we're already at 3 poison, which I think activates a lot of their corrupted abilities, so that's not great for us. On our next turn, we can swing for 1 and I guess hold up both Essence Scatter and Go for the Throat. Probably casting Go for the Throat before combat damage. I would love to have the 4 mana -13/-13 that exiles, but that's only a 1-of in our deck. Drown in Ichor again. We have an option of bouncing it back to our hand with Rona's Vortex, but I really don't think that's worth it. Okay, we cast Go for the Throat here, definitely. We can only take 6 more damage and proliferation before we die, which is very unideal. They're going to counterspell there. I don't think bouncing with Vortex gives us... I don't think that's worth it, personally. It might be, though. I don't like going to 5 poison. Okay, so if we Body Launderer here, it's probably going to die, but I think we probably played anyway. If it dies, we can bring back Tempest Djinn, or Haughty Djinn. Tempest Djinn, wow, throwback. And I think we're probably going to end up bouncing something on their turn. I just don't want to fall too behind in terms of tempo, especially when realistically we're at 5 health and they have burn spells such as this. So, very scary. We kind of need to try and close out the game, not in the distant future. I think we have to bounce it here. It would be great if we had Essence Scatter up, but we just needed to get a creature on the board so we can start dealing damage. And they counter it. I think we just main phase Consider. That's not good enough. Grafted Butcher, not going to boost the Body Launderer, but gets us more power on the board. We're going to be at 8 poison next turn, not holding up any removal. Hopefully countering a creature they play, but if they have 2 proliferation effects, such as this, we're dead. So we could actually die this turn if they have 1 more, or if they find another proliferation. Hopefully they choose to play creature instead, but we're still dead next turn, probably. I'm sure they have 1 proliferation effect in hand or somewhere near the top of their deck. Okay, Duress is important here. Let's hope they don't have an instant speed proliferation in response. Man! Okay, on to game 3. Is it the good game? On to game 3. It's clear that they're actually wanting to be pretty aggressive. I'm not really sure what we have to stop this. Blot Out as an exile, in fact, might be worth it. I don't think Karn Silex is going to be good enough. I think we pretty much have to do this. I think there's an argument for Shore Up, but I don't think it's good enough. Essence Scatter and Consider, both I don't think are great in this situation, but I think I'm getting rid of the Consider because I could see Essence Scatter being a bit more helpful, especially now that we're on the play. I'd take a hand with 2 lands and an Essence Scatter so we can counter that 2-drop flyer. But again, it doesn't exile it. This is very proactive. We don't have any reaction here. I don't hate a Death Toucher. And this is a good hand, just maybe not in this matchup, but I don't think we can afford to mulligan this. I think we go with Grafted Butcher first, just because it'll give us more damage. If we draw 2 more lands, we'll have a great curve out and we might just be too fast for them to stop us. Even just 1 more land puts Terror of Tawashi and Aetherblade Agent online, and the draw from Gitaxian Mind. Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah. I think we're probably in business here. They probably remove this. We play the Aetherblade Agent. Okay, they counter it. That's not a huge loss, but it is a good card and it helps us draw more. Okay, burn spell that cantrips. Okay, 5th land is good here. Yeah, we can just swing in and then play the Terror. And then Hidetsugu and Kairi next turn is big, or depending on what they play, it could be Gix's Command instead. I don't really want either of these to get countered, but I suppose we can follow up with Gix's Command to bring things back from the graveyard. It just depends how much of their mana they leave up, because we know they have this 2-mana counterspell. At this point, it's still a Quench, but we're not going to have the extra mana unless we draw cheap playable. Either way, we're probably attacking first to force a removal spell, especially if they're playing Experimental Augury here. That'll leave them with 2 mana up, so that's not enough for both removal and a counterspell. So we'll definitely attack first and hope they remove the Terror, or they might decide to do that on their turn if they're being impatient, or if they have sorcery speed removal, like the -4/-4 proliferate. Okay, another Experimental Augury, they're really digging. So that puts Corrupted online. So that means their counterspells are hard counters now, so we're going to want to play our creature this turn. We'll be representing lethal next turn, but I'm sure they have something to do. Do we want... Normally I'd go with the value, but I think getting a bigger creature out right now is more important. We just want to finish this game quickly. We could take the land. I think we're probably getting rid of Deadly Derision and putting an island on top and then a removal spell, and I think we prefer Go for the Throat because that can let us play 2 spells in 1 turn. So we're probably doing this and then ordering the island on top. Let's see what they have. Okay, exile effect. So the unfortunate part of that is that we don't get the die trigger. I should have considered, though, even though I was aware that the removal was likely instant speed, that was a misplay on my part because I could have put Deadly Derision on top, and then if they did kill this card, we would have had them lose 4. Okay, so they don't have the mana to counter anything. So what we can probably do is Chrome Host first, just in case somehow they have a 1-mana flash creature, which I assume there's one in the format. I honestly don't know all of the cards well enough. I feel like there is one from All Will Be One, maybe. No, I think that's 2 mana, the Saliba Cryptomancer. I don't know, but I'm sure there is. They're divining again. They probably have a counterspell now, so perhaps last turn was the best opportunity for Gix's Command. Play their Voidwing Hybrid. Gix's Command could be very good if we can resolve it. Oh, they're pretty much tapped out. So yeah, I think Gix's Command, unless there's a way for us to win this turn, which I don't think there is. Let's see. 5, we can put 2 counters, 6, 7, and make them, they're down to 1 that way. That might actually be better. But if they can kill both of our creatures, although we will have the Incubate for 5 from Seed Shark, and we could sack that to bring back the Butcher for some reason. So I do think that is probably the play. So I think we have them sack, put counters. I think we put the counters on the Butcher, because they do have flying blockers usually, and we want to distribute our power. Right, they're down to 1. Distorted Curiosity. Wow, they really just keep drawing. Unless there's some way we can get 4 poison counters on 1 turn, which I don't think they can with... Now they need 3 more poison counters with 2 mana. Don't think it's going to happen. They're probably dead. Or if they have a removal spell. No, that's just 1 blocker, so they're dead. It's a good game. And we have won match number 1 for episode number 2. That brings our total record up to 4-2 matches. I'm very impressed. I would have expected 6 matches in. We'd be like 1-5, maybe 0-6. The highest I would have expected is 2-4, but to be 4-2, I'm ecstatic. Match 1 went very well. Let's see if we can do the same for match 2. We're against Don. I can't tell if that's a Don joke or if their name is Dan. Just want to say it. This hand could be good in certain matchups, but it's too slow to keep generically. This hand isn't much better, but I don't really want to go down to 5. Opponent plays a mountain and a Swift Spear. Oh no, mono red aggro. Or is it prowess? Either way, we're probably dead here, but let's try anyway. Never give up. Second mountain, and Feldin. They're going to swing in for 3. We're down to 17. We'll play a swamp, hold up, go for the throat. Probably use it on the Feldin. Furnace Punisher after a mountain. Deals 2 damage to us unless we control 2 or more basic lands. Luckily we will. We're going to take out the Feldin with a go for the throat before damage. Then we can hold up Blot Out or Murder. Feldin's dead. We go to 16. We play an island. We'll no longer be taking 2 from the Furnace Punisher. We'll pass the turn holding up removal spells. They play a Mishra's Foundry and an Invasion of Tarkir. Prowess trigger. Let's see, when it enters the battlefield, they reveal dragon cards and deal 2 damage to our face for every dragon card revealed. Alright, let's see what they reveal. Perhaps if we can hold on long enough, we can, hopefully, if they have a big dragon in hand like a Shivim Devastator, exactly, we're going to take 3. But as long as we can survive, maybe eventually we can Blue Sun's Twilight, because it'll have a CMC of 1 when it's on the field. Bloodthirsty Adversary. Alright, I think what we're probably going to do here, just because these are both 2 power and we have 3 power, is blot out, because they'll sacrifice the Furnace Punisher, and then we'll have Deadly Derision or Murder. Probably we're going to want to use Deadly Derision next, because that'll ramp us into Blue Sun's Twilight quicker. They're attacking at us, not the invasion, so they don't really want to flip it into a dragon, apparently. We go down to 7. That's pretty low for this matchup. Does Shivim Devastator have haste? It does, doesn't it? Alright. What can we do in this situation? I think we have to hold up Deadly Derision. I would ideally not like to use Deadly Derision on Shivim Devastator, and I'd like to steal it as a blocker, but if they play it for 4, we're probably going to have to. I don't really think we can survive that. I mean, we go down to 2, and then they'd have Mishra's Foundry and another creature. Yeah, we're going to have to Deadly Derision here. We probably should have waited till attackers, because this might change their decision tree. They're still swinging at us, alright. We could stabilize here. We can't remove both of them, because that enters tapped. I think what we probably do here is play the Seed Shark, because it can block, and then next time we murder, we'll stabilize. This is a bit risky. If they have I mean, either way, if they had a burn spell, we're dead. But I think if they activate Foundry, we go to 1. They have 2 Foundries now. Let's see what happens here. We're definitely going to block the Foundry. We'll take 3, go to 1. We'll remove one of their creatures with Murder, and we're probably going to have to steal something with Blue Sun's Twilight. They're attacking us with the Foundry and attacking the Invasion for 3. If they have a burn spell that hits the Invasion, that's probably not great, but I think we just need to protect our life total now. Mishra's Foundry has so many... Oh, they can still activate it. Yep, that's a misplay on my part. That was not very good. But, I mean, it wasn't actually a misplay because it would have been lethal. We can Rona's Vortex on a Foundry. For us to stay alive here, though, this doesn't untap. How can we stay alive? We have 6 mana total, so Murder's 1, Vortex, or other way around, 4 total. Blue Suns would be 3 if we want to gain control of something. So we can Blue Suns and Murder, but they're going to have 2 Mishra's Foundries, so that would be 6. Murder would take it to 4. I think we're dead here, but I think our best option is Murder and Rona's Vortex, because Blue Suns would really need to give us a blocker for it to be probably worth it. Okay, Prowess trigger, so we're dead on board, unless they do something stupid. Oh, they're popping their own invasion. Okay, this is not good. So we're gonna have to show our hand here and Rona's Vortex something. Yeah, we're dead. Alright, let's just not show our hand here and just scoop. Game 2 against Mono Red, we are definitely bringing in all of our cheap removal. We're probably, if we're going on the play, we're probably bringing in Essence Scatter, Annihilating Glare. Duress might be worth it against the battles, but I didn't see enough non-creatures for me to want to actually play Duress. Karn Silex, Drown in Ichor. I don't hate Pithing Needle for Mishra's Foundry. Okay, now what do we bring out here? Definitely both Deadly Derisions, Meeting of Minds. Probably, I really don't think we were going to need Breach to win this match. We can also probably cut a land. Hidetsugu and Kairi, flying is probably important. Death Touch is probably not bad. What else do we not like here? I don't love Consider. Okay, I think we'll go with this. Let's see if we can do better on the play. We need, hopefully, a good blocker and good removal in our hand, and I'll be happy with that. Or Karn Silex would be great, but this is not a good matchup for our deck. Okay, this is pretty close to the best hand we could get. Malevolent Hermit doesn't block well, but we can chump something and then use it in the future as a flying blocker, or we could sack it if they play Invasion of Tarkir. They're mulliganing, which is, I mean, an expected sign. They're mono red, but better than them keeping a 7. Alright, we'll start with the backwater, go to 21. Opponent plays a mountain into Swift Spear probably. Yep, we're taking 1. Now we have an interesting option here of going Hermit and presenting a block and holding up our removal spell, but we have a murder next turn anyway. If we Hermit and they attack, I didn't see many instants and sorceries, but that would be a blowout if we block and then they have something. So I think the smart play here is just to drown an Ichor ahead of time. I also like playing Hermit and then either holding up its ability to sack it for Tarkir, or if they don't play that, we can just Annihilating Glare. Pit Fighter, okay. See if we can draw a good blocker here. We draw another murder. I think we just pass again. Opponent does not hit their 3rd land. So out of the 3 cards we can kill, we probably want to kill the Pit Fighter because that's their ability to draw more cards. Yep, murder the Pit Fighter. We take 3 down to 16. They're already down to 3 cards in hand and they're on 2 lands. I'm not too worried about an invasion for the next 2 turns. I think we just do the same thing, which is probably hold up, murder, kill something. If they play a third land, we might hold up Murder until after combat. Okay, they do have an Invasion, which is not great. We probably could have... There's an argument for playing Malevolent Hermit there. Probably a correct argument. It's a very good card for 2 mana. Whew. Okay, we take 3. They reveal Shivan Devastator. I want to save a removal spell for that, but I guess that will have to be Annihilating Glare. We don't want them to pop the Invasion. I think it's probably correct to kill the Swift Spear. Hermit more than often can block Adversary. So yeah, we'll play Hermit. We can either hold up the counter ability or Rona's Vortex. I don't think we Annihilating Glare the Adversary. We probably save that for Shivan Devastator. Archpriest, if Hermit survives, we don't have anything to bring back now. Them Lightning Striking that is not good. We can't bounce it. I suppose we can bounce the creature side, but that's also not good. We could bounce the creature side and then counter it with Hermit, but we need to hold Hermit up. We could let them attack and then kill it, but again, we need to sacrifice Hermit for that. So either way you look at it, it's not good. We could just Rona's Vortex it, but kicked. Let's see. If they attack here, we probably trade, and then we Vortex the Thundermaw, I would presume, before combat on their turn. We can't both Sleeper and hold up a kicked Vortex, and I'd rather not bounce that to their hand. So Sleeper plus Annihilating Glare isn't great either. I think we pass here. We're probably going to lose that on tempo and take some damage if they play Shivan Devastator or another hasty creature. The fact that they're thinking this long makes me think they don't have a land and they have another non-creature spell or creature. Okay, there's the Shivan Devastator. So we're going to kick Rona's Vortex, the Thundermaw, before attackers. Otherwise we'd take 4 from its ability. Out of our creatures, we're probably sacking 1 to get rid of the Devastator. As a reminder, we can get something back with Archpriest. Benevolent Geist we can't get back because it dies from exile. The cheap option is Evolve Sleeper, then we also get to play the Agent on the same turn. Or I guess either or. The Agent, if we can get a 5th mana, turning it into a 3/3 that draws us a card is probably pretty good. And the fully evolved form of Evolve Sleeper, as if it's a Pokemon, having us lose life, I don't think is probably going to be great in this matchup because that'll put us in range of their burn. So I think we probably sacrifice the Evolve Sleeper. Let's hope they don't have another Shivan Devastator in hand or an Invasion of Tarkir because we can't counter it. I'd be fine with any ground creature though because Aetherblade Agent can block it. Furnace Punisher, that's fine. We won't take damage from it. There's a land. I think the right option is to Archpriest, back up the Agent. I don't think they'll block, but that would also, I mean, I might block if I was them depending on their hand just because letting me reanimate something probably isn't great for them, even if it's just an Evolved Sleeper, and I have a 4/4 blocker anyway, so without some sort of Lightning Strike, they can't kill the shadows, or they 2-for-1 themselves. Okay, that's fine. I think we bring back the Malevolent Hermit, because we can hold that ability up in the future against another invasion, as long as they don't play one now. Finally, a 4th land from the opponent. Swift Spear, that's alright. And a Lightning Strike to face. Okay, that's, I guess. I really want to hold up the Hermit. I'd rather take out the thing that can kill me 3 damage, but I don't really want to double block right now. So I think we'll kill the Swift Spear, go to 6, which is not where I want to be. Going to 7 isn't that much better, so I think this is probably what we want to do. Okay, I think we hold up something to block with. We could just transform, though I do want the Hermit's ability. So I think we need to start turning the corner, though. So we probably attack for 6. That puts them on a 3-turn clock. And then we can go for the throw, and if they have a hasty creature, we can block it with the Hermit or the Evolved Sleeper. See what they got. I mean, if they don't do anything on their turn, or even if they do, we can go for the throw. Okay, Invasion of Tarkir. So we sack to counter that. Oh, but they can't pay for it unless they pay 3. We can replay the Hermit on our turn. If they attack, we can still go for the throat. Or we can trade it with the Sleeper. Well, we can't because it has Menace. Forgot about that. Yep, let's kill it. Okay, they scoop. On to game 3. I don't know if I wouldn't Essence Scatter just because we're on the draw, but it certainly won't be good except for like Shivan Devastators. I think we keep it. Hopefully they have a not super fast hand and we get a Silex, but I wouldn't mind a repeat of the last game. It was a bit close, but I think we did well. The Archpriest was really fantastic. Okay, this I don't think is good enough. This is, honestly, I think we risk it. If we just draw into more lands, this is great. If we don't, we probably lose, but I think this is better than the average hand we can get from 5 cards, even if it does have lands, because we have Ashnod, which can block well, and then until we draw 3 lands. Okay, that's a 2nd land. That's good. So that lets us play the Butcher next turn, and then Silex on turn 3, hopefully, if we draw a land, or even turn 4 wouldn't be terrible. Okay, I think we definitely traded the Swift Spear here, because more often than, well, they have Invasion, they have Lightning Strike. We're going to kill it soon anyway, so I think we actually kill the Adversary just to save more damage in the immediate. If they don't have an instant or sorcery, Butcher trades with Swift Spear. This went extremely well. I couldn't be happier, but that was very risky. but I'm glad it worked out. I mean, we haven't won yet, but this hand worked as well as I think this hand could have worked. They're representing something. If they lightning strike to the face, that would be a big blowout. I don't know if I really want to take the damage anyway. I don't think we declare any blockers. I mean, it's going to be destroyed by the Silex anyway at some point, but okay. Play with fire, it's not great. Keep it on top. What are they going to play? Probably invasion. Oh, Kumano faces Kakazan. Okay, a lot of them. All right. We definitely just go with the Silex here. We might take a considerable amount of damage next turn, especially if either what they kept on top or what they have in hand has haste, because it'll get 2+1/+1 counters. But I think we'll be in a good position for next turn. Okay, Furnace Punisher doesn't have haste, so we'll just blow up their board and our board, but that part's fine. We don't have another land, so whatever they do next turn we can't respond to. Let's swing. They're gonna block it, but it would be funny if they didn't. Oh, okay, we get in for a free 2 damage. We will blow up the world. Grafted Butcher can recur in the late game if we have a treasure token or another creature that we don't like as much. Let's hope they didn't draw something good. Okay, that lets them scry, but at least now we have removal to hold up. We're at 10, so not great on the how dead are we to burn scale. We're probably fine for now. We just want to draw lands and creatures. Okay, we don't have anything that can deal with that, and we're taking 2. Again, not ideal. Okay, we draw a creature. If they draw Shivan Devastator, we're probably dead. I don't know if we can wait until we draw another land for Go for the Throat. I don't think we can at this point. We're pretty low. They pass. Okay, swinging for 1 isn't worth it. Okay, we can't do anything about that. It's another point of damage to us. We're now dead to a lot of things. Still another land. Or still not another land. For holding up Go for the Throat anyways, I suppose we Pithing Needle anyway. We can name Mishra's Workshop. Oh, sorry, Mishra's Foundry. I don't feel safe attacking right now. I'd like 2 blockers before I attack, even though we have a Go for the Throat. They've been holding cards in their hand, so they were probably... Okay, I guess they're passing again. But next turn they have a creature. I mean, they're clearly waiting for an opening for something, so I just don't feel comfortable tapping out on my own turn. And only if they go to their end step, I will kill Kumano. But I guess that they think I have a counter spell, so they're probably not wanting to tap out for their burn spell. Or it was a Shivan Devastator the whole time. Alright, that's fine. We can block the etchings of Kumano, and I think Blot Out makes the most sense. The answer that does what we want now, but least targeted overall. Let's just do it before blockers. And 2 more non-creatures, 2 more non-creatures and Ichor Synthesizers online. That'll put them on a 6-turn clock when that happens. But we're still dead to a lot of burn, so... Oh, it's greatest mana value. Oh, that was a huge misplay on my part. Oh, that makes me feel really stupid. Okay, that's really not good. I think I just threw the game. We can kill one thing. We're either down to 1 or we're down to 2. If they draw another dragon, we're down to 2. Wow, I could have just murdered there. Okay, that's very disappointing. And now, yeah, so that's lethal. Okay, that's a disappointing way for match 2 to end. I'm not sure if we would have won if I played it differently. Bloodthirsty Adversary still would have been bad, but they would have had nothing on their board instead of 2 big flyers. Alright, here we are with match 3. Let's see if we can win this one and end with a positive result to the episode. If not, I'd say that this episode would have had a more realistic result to what I expected at the start of the series than last episode, but it's still always nice to improve on previous results. This is a great hand because we can curve turn 2 Butcher into Seed Shark. We have 2 black sources, which is good for all of our removal, and we have 2 good pieces of removal, so I'll keep. Backwater, gain 1. Opponent plays a Deserted Beach, probably on Soldiers, but maybe on Azorius Control. I think Soldiers is a bit more common in the meta. Grafted Butcher will pass the turn. Opponent plays a Plains, passes, possibly representing or holding up a counterspell or maybe removal. We'll attack first and then play the Seed Shark. Opponent casts Resolute Reinforcements, definitely on Soldiers. If they double block, we could cast Blot Out, that would be a 1-for-1. But I'm equally happy trading the 1-for-1 of Butcher for reinforcements and then playing the Seed Shark. But they're just going to take the damage. We'll play the Seed Shark and pass the turn. Opponent plays a 3rd land and Ossification, probably exiling the Seed Shark. Yep, gets in for 2. We'll play a Dismal Backwater because we're holding up removal either way, and whatever they cast will probably be able to be taken up by Blot Out. There is a consideration for the untapped land, so we can pile on and surveil, but I think I'd prefer to make sure we have the untapped land next turn in case we draw a 5-drop like Archpriest. Siege Veteran, we are going to make sure we Blot Out before combat. Hope they don't have a response for 1 mana. They do have a Spell Pierce, that's unfortunate. They're putting the counter on the Siege Veteran, so that'll make removal easier. We're probably going to remove the Siege Veteran either way here, so better just to do it now. Then we get damage in, and also they can't counter it. Ooh, these are both great. What we could do is put Gix in the graveyard, and then next turn play the Archpriest and hopefully use backup to bring Gix back. If this doesn't work out, then that'll be unfortunate for us, but I think it should. We'll see though. Opponent doesn't play a land, but plays Valiant Veteran, pumping. Let's hope they don't have a counterspell up here. They could have Essence Scatter. Archpriest resolves. We'll use the backup ability on Butcher. Opponent casts Soul Partition, exiling Butcher. That's very unfortunate. Ossification, exiling the Archpriest. We're going to have to claw our way back into this one, or get some good draws. Ashnod's not bad. I think this turn we can play Ashnod, hold up Deadly Derision for the Veteran probably, and then next turn we can bring back Grafted Butcher instead of Ashnod. It blocks better. We'll pass the turn. Exiling Ashnod. We can recast it. I want to give us the option for Butcher next turn, so I think what I'm going to do here... No, I think that's actually a bad idea. We need the removal for the Veteran, otherwise we're going down too low. I was going to exile Gix to Ashnod to create a 3-3, but that 3-3 is tapped, and I did not want to go down to 2 life, because that would have been bad. We're going to really hope they didn't draw Spell Pierce. They did not. Unfortunately, they can use it as an Anthem, and now they have Sky Strike. We did not draw anything that can deal with the flyer. We have 6 mana. We could go Ashnod and Testament Bearer. We could go Grafted Butcher, Testament Bearer. Well, actually we would have to go Ashnod then Grafted Butcher, or just Grafted Butcher and Ashnod. Either way, we're getting 2 ground blockers. I think I prefer the Testament Bearer to the Grafted Butcher in this case. Or, yeah, because Ashnod does not count as a human or a Phyrexian. So, no, I think we want the Grafted Butcher because that leaves us with something that can block twice. And we're just going to have to hopefully not have them draw anything that can win them the game. Obviously, they have Anthem, but they don't have the land for it. We need to draw some removal for the Sky Strike Officer, otherwise they're going to be drawing too many cards. This is certainly not my finest game of Magic. I've made a few errors already, or almost errors. Okay, they Anthem, so we can trade for both 2/2s, but we take 3 in the air. Next turn, we are dead if we don't draw something. Okay, let's see what we get with Consider. That does not do it. Come on. That does do it. Okay, we are going to pass the turn and murder before they declare attacks. That was probably an error, because if they drew a Spell Pierce, well, in this case, Spell Pierce I could pay for, and I didn't wait until before they attacked. I clicked once too many. That's a pretty big misplay on my fault. That's lethal next turn. That was me not being careful with the buttons. Well, one thing this series is definitely doing is making me pay for my mistakes, because I should have countered that earlier, and that's why we lose game 1. So one thing you learn is that this series is not just about how can the best player in the world win with a sealed deck on Arena, it's how can a very bad player win with a sealed deck on Arena based on how many mistakes I've been making. Okay, what do we play against soldiers? We bring in Essence Scatters, we don't bring in Duresses. We could bring in Annihilating Glares, but that's 2-for-1ing ourselves, and a lot of their creatures give them more value, so I don't think I like that, actually. Drowning Ichor is probably pretty good. Karn Silex. Pithing Needle for Sky Strike Soldier. I think we probably bring out Breach. We bring out Card Draw. Malevolent Hermit doesn't block well. Neither does Spell Dancer. We can try this. Alright, I'll be really upset at myself if we lose the match because of misplacing game 1, so let's make sure we at least win this game 2 to give us a chance at a 3rd game. Okay, we can keep this. I think we don't play Pithing Needle on turn 1 because we'd rather curve into Agent, then hold up Murder, then Tawashi. Yep, we will curve out, supposedly. Next turn we could Pithing Needle, or depending on when we feel like murdering, flip the Aether Blade Agent at any point. Guardian of Nubenalia. Alright, so they can give it Indestructible. What they can't do is beat Drowning Ichor. So I think what we do here is kill that. Then we can attack and Pithing Needle, naming Sky Strike Veteran, or Soldier, I forget the name of the card. Sky Strike something, I think. Lieutenant, maybe? I feel like I should remember that. Oh, a bit of lag. Called Sky Strike Officer. Alright. I think limiting their card draw is pretty important, even though we can still get overrun. That would be bad if we let them just draw a bunch of free cards, because most of our removal is spot removal, except for Karn Silex. There they go. They play the Sky Strike Officer. That makes me feel very good about my own decision. I think they're still creating a free 1/1 every time, so we could flip it. We could play Tawashi. I think we swing, and I think we probably just play Terror and pass. I'm not too worried about them getting a 1/1. Opponent plays the 4th land. Yep, and the Ossification, targeting Terror of Tawashi. Swing in for 2, make a 1/1. I think in this situation, we flip Aetherblade Agent. They're getting a few 1/1s. I feel like we can almost not actually race them, but I'm not too worried about a few 1/1s that we can block later. They want to make sure we don't draw a card. Play a tap land, swing for 2, make another 1/1. This time we're definitely going to kill Sky Strike Officer before they attack so that they can't keep blocking. Rona's Vortex is pretty good. Let's swing. They're probably going to block, knowing their pattern. Indeed they do. Token dies. We'll pass. I'm a bit worried about the counter spells they have, so we're probably going to try go for the throat, especially on their turn when they're not tapped out. Okay, that actually helps significantly. In this case, we might want to destroy it before Siege Veteran enters, just so they don't get the free token. Opponent's thinking they probably have a counter spell, or they're just bluffing well. We'll let Siege Veteran resolve, then if they pass to our turn, we'll try and resolve Murder. They might have another creature play. They're going to try to resolve Ossification on the Mind Stinger. Question is whether we value Mind Stinger more than Arona's Vortex. We can bounce it back. Oh, no, it only targets creatures you don't control. Okay, so that's not as good as I thought it was, but still a good card. We will, I suppose, then have to let Ossification resolve, and then on end step we will murder the Siege Veteran. Or, I guess it's still the first main phase. That's a good draw. We can resolve Hadijin. It's a 3-4. Opponent has Destroy Evil, and another Siege Veteran. I think in this situation we just play the Rona's Vortex now, because I don't want them to be able to counter it. They have 2 cards in hand, we have none, so they're probably going to be able to resolve some things this turn, and we might not be able to respond with all of it. They pass through the turn. That makes me scared and worried. I think we still probably try and resolve Gix. What could they have in their hand? They could have 2 Make Disappears. That would counter Gix. They're counting my land, so I am guessing that's what it is. Spell Pierce wouldn't help because Gix is a creature. There's 1 Make Disappear. Let's see if they have the second. I'm assuming they did, because otherwise this would be a stupid play. They did. Okay. The bright side of that is it makes me feel better about my reading ability. They play Harbin. I play an Island. They're going to get in for 3. Cut down is not bad. I'm slightly regretting setting out Breach now, because we are now at Breach mana. I was not expecting this game to go on this long, to be honest. This is much more grindy than game 1. We kill Harbin. Chromos Sea Shark, a good draw. Unless they have hard counters, they would need 3 Make Disappears, which they've already played 2, so unless they have other counter spells, this should resolve. They could have a kill spell. Yeah, they have Destroy Evil, so another Destroy Evil could kill it. We can try and resolve Ashnod. We should attack first, though, because building good habits. Ashnod's ability can be activated at instant speed, so when they pass back to us, we will make a 3-3. They play another Harbin. Alright, let's make a 5-5, or 3-3. I think we'll exile Gix here. I wouldn't mind recurring Hadijin at some point, but I'll still prioritize exiling it. I'm gonna consider in first main phase just to see if we find anything we want to play now. We make a 1-1, or an artifact that turns into a 1-1. Are they considering countering our Consider? Okay, that's going in the graveyard. And do we draw another land? We have enough mana for Ashnod's ability and flipping the Incubator next turn. I'm worried that they could have a pump spell, so I'm actually going to hold back the Siege Shark just because I think it's too valuable for us, because even though we're at a constant card disadvantage to them so far, this will help us accrue basically all of our cards are 2-for-1s, so I think it's worth it to keep it back rather than getting an extra 2 points of damage. Even if they can't block, I'm just worried that they can, so we'll pass. Next turn, if all goes as planned, we should have 10 power on the board. Okay, they are soul partitioning our Chrome Host Siege Shark. They could have played that, unless they just drew that, which they must have. They would have played that on our turn because we had no cards in. They're probably getting in for 3. We'll take 3. Exile Gix, or exile Hadijin to Ashnod, make a 3-3. Make a 1-1 on their end step. Blue Sun's Twilight. Doesn't untap it. And it would be a legendary, so I don't really want to use that on Harbin. I think we just swing with everything and then replay Siege Shark second main. We're not making the same mistake as in episode 1. They go down to 5. We're replaying Siege Shark. Pass. They draw. They have 4 cards in hand now. A lot of this has been sitting there for a while. I'm guessing they're stuck with the Spell Piercer 2 in hand. They're conceding. We're going to game 3. I think I want to bring back in Breach. And I think... what do we take out? When you can't decide, just take out Consider. So that's what we'll do. Maybe a mistake. Maybe a mistake to not have any of our card draw still in. I'm just worried about them going on to play being like game 1 and they just stomp over us. I'm hoping that we have enough ways to get 2-for-1s in our deck that missing the card advantage won't be too big of a problem. And so far, except for like the very late game, like turn 6+, we have been pretty much using all our mana every turn. This hand we can't keep, it's 1 land. This hand is not a great hand to keep. We have 2 spells that cost black. We have 2 islands. We keep it. The question is, what do we get rid of? I like turn 1 Pithing Needle. I like all 3 of our black creatures. I think we have to get rid of either Terror or Gix. I think the right option is probably to get rid of Gix. They both require black anyways, and I think Terror can be better in the later game, reanimating something. Okay, we will go turn 1 Island Pithing Needle, naming Sky Strike Officer. Remember the name this time. We can go turn 2 Ichor Synthesizer. Hopefully we draw a land, hopefully we draw a swamp. If we don't draw a swamp, then we can go turn 3 Silex if we draw an island. If we draw neither, we're in a bit of trouble. Opponent plays a second land and a Sun Gold Sentinel. That seems pretty good. We didn't draw a land, we can go Ichor Synthesizer. That's a 3-2. They swing for 3. We will take 3. They pass. We draw. It's not a land. I suppose we're swinging in for 1 and passing. Zephyr Sentinel, bouncing the Sun Gold Sentinel. They now have a 3-2 with flying, and they can replay another 3-2 next turn. They might also be missing their land, so maybe this game isn't over yet if we can draw a land here. It's a tap lane, so we still can't do anything this turn, but next turn we can play Silex, hopefully not be dead, and then activate it the turn after that. We're going to hope that they're going to choose to replay something or play something for 3. They are. That means they're not going to hold up a counter for Silex. We really need to draw a land here. I'm assuming that we can probably save more life next turn if they can pump or put a counter. On the flip side, they could have a removal spell and we might be able to save no life. If we take 4 now, we go to 10. We would be taking 10 next turn. So either way, we're probably dead. So I think the play here is not to block this turn and hope that we obviously can't play Silex. Black Sun's Twilight does not save us. We have to probably just play Evolved Sleeper, and I don't even know what we could draw. Maybe go for the throat, but we're chumping this turn, so that wouldn't really save us. So the game is pretty much over. Let's see what the opponent chooses to do. We'll put a counter on the Siege Veteran. They will swing in. We are forced to block both. We go down to 3. Having a Consider instead of that Breach probably would have been the right choice. We're dead here anyways. Let's go out with the Silex. Not going to do anything, but just to show that we had it. Right, so not the greatest end to match 3, so we're 1 and 2 for the day. We're going to hop over to packs right after this, but let's let them swing in for lethal. We go down to -9. Good game. Alright, before we get into packs, I'd just like to say once again, thank you for watching this episode and the previous one. Please, please, please let me know in the comments your preferences, whether you liked the editing style and the content of this video or the previous episode, whether you like it better in voiceover or in real time but edited. I think if we go back to voiceover, we might still trim it down to 3 episodes just for shorter episodes so I can make more episodes and you can watch them quicker, but just let me know your opinions on all of that if you have any other feedback. We have 2,500 gold, so we don't have enough for 2 mythic packs. We can go with 1 mythic pack and 1 regular. My instinct is to once again go for Dominaria United because that gives us access to Cut Down or Shieldred if we can get more of those, because I think that would really, really upgrade our deck. Next episode is going to be Wilds of Eldraine. The only downside of getting Dominaria United is that it doesn't give us any more progress to a golden pack, which could be useful in the long run. But I think at some point we're going to need to get old packs to get access to cards we want anyway. So I think this is probably the best idea. So we're going to go and buy 1 mythic pack. We're going to go and buy 1 regular pack. It's unfortunate that if we had a few more wins, we might have had the gold to get 2 mythic packs. But let's see. First we have a Lord of the Rings pack that will not matter at all for the series unless we decide to branch out into Historic or Explorer, which at this point I doubt we will, but you never know. Let's open our first pack. What did we get? None of these seem particularly good. Bone Splinters could see play somewhere, but it actually seems strictly worse than the other card we have that's the same effect, but you can also choose to pay 5, so never mind. Let's see what our rare is. It's, of course, a wild card. Alright, now here's our mythic pack. If this is a mythic wild card, I will be very upset. None of the commons or uncommons seem like we're going to play them for sure. Llanowar Stalker could make the cut in an Elf Tribal deck, but I don't imagine us ever having the cards for Elf Tribal. Writhing Necromass, again, cost reducers are always pretty good. Won't fit into our current deck, but I could see a Graveyard Synergy deck in the future. Let's see what our mythic is. Weatherlight Completed. Alright, so it's 2 mana for a 5/5 flying vehicle. As long as it has 4 or more Phyresis counters on it, it's a Phyrexian creature. Whenever a creature you control dies, put a Phyresis counter on it. Draw a card if it has 7 or more Phyresis counters on it. If you don't, scry 1. I don't think this is good enough because I don't think we have enough creatures, and I don't think we will have enough creatures dying for this to make sense to play. But still a fun card to get, and I could see us using it in the future. So with that, thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.